review session. So what I'll be going over today are a couple of different things. First, I'll give you some information about what you can expect from the certification exam. Then I'll briefly go over the exam objectives. This is a document that I given you at the beginning of this program. What this does, it breaks down by topic and area the types of questions and percentages for each topic in the certification exam. And then lastly, I will open up the line for any questions that you do have moving forward. So first, a bit of information about the certification exam. The certification exam for QuickBooks is 50 multiple choice questions. I'd mentioned this before, and it's approximately 50 minutes long. So more or less, it's a minute per question if you average it out like that. It is multiple choice, so rather than asking you to move around in the QuickBooks interface itself, what they will be asking you is more of concepts behind the program. So with training, this is why we give you access to those 2 prove-it exams. In addition, once you finish all of your training, so this includes the info sheet, certification tutorial, Mastering QuickBooks Level 1, the lecture, QuickBooks Pro 2009, Getting Started, which is the SkillSoft course, and then the 2 prove-it assessments for 2012 and 2011. You will receive a certification voucher automatically to your email with 3 practice tests that directly replicate the types of questions you'll get on the certification exam. So between the training, these types of practice questions, and these tests, you will feel very prepared moving forward into the exam. So the exam is rated out of 1,000 possible points. So again, each question is worth about 20 points if you think of it that way. So in order to pass the exam, you need a 700 out of 1,000. So that kind of averages out to be 70%. So keeping that in mind moving forward. In addition, I just mentioned those 3 practice exams will directly replicate what you'll get the day of the certification. So with each practice exam, you'll get the multiple choice, A, B, C, and D, and then you'll also get feedback as to what answer is correct and why. So these practice exams also limit you to 50 minutes, which I found helpful, being that this is a timed exam, so I think you'll find all of this helpful. So with the certification exam, you find out on the day that you take the exam whether you pass or not. So it's about a minute or 2 wait. It can kind of seem longer. I remember sitting there and thinking that to myself. But you'll find out then what you earned and then also how you scored in the different sections. If you were not to pass the exam for the first time, you will have a retake along with the voucher that you received. That comes with an exam plus 1 retake that you can take within a 30-day period. So moving forward into the exam objectives, I'm going to briefly go over these. So the exam objectives document I gave you consists of 10 different sections of questions, about 2 pages long. So with each of these sections that I go over, there's a percentage that's associated. So for instance, section number 1 is QuickBooks Setup. This is 6% of the questions that are asked. So basically 3 questions on the exam will have to do with setup. So for QuickBooks Setup, you're going to want to know the following. What information is required before you set up a QuickBooks file? So in order to create a company through the Express Start, you need to know some basic company information and to know general operations within the company. Also, how to start a new company data file in QuickBooks, how to keep the lists and preferences from an old file while removing to old transactions, how to customize the home page through QuickBooks Preferences, and how to set up lists. So this includes customers, vendors, items, etc., understanding which names and items should appear on which lists. Topic number 2 is QuickBooks Utilities and General Product Knowledge. This is 10% of the questions that are asked. You will want to know how to navigate or move around QuickBooks using the home page, menus, icon bar, and so on, how to back up and restore a data file by going to File, Open, or Restore Company, how to determine the release number and how to update QuickBooks, how to use QuickBooks in single-user and multi-user mode, what versions and editions of QuickBooks are available for a specific year, how to password protect QuickBooks by going to Company, Setup Users, and how and why to use preferences. So topic number 3 is list management. Again, this is 6% of what is asked. You will want to know how to manage lists. This includes customers, vendors, items, and so on. List management will include adding new entries, deleting entries, editing entries, and merging entries. Item number 4 is items, which is 8% of what is asked, so 4 questions, more or less. You will want to know how QuickBooks uses items to perform the necessary accounting entries, the different types of items and when to use each type. So for this section, I made sure to refer to the Day 1 manual. Chapter 5, page 48, has a great description of the different item types and what they mean. Also, how to use items for different types of scenarios. So this includes companies that sell products for a specified price, services for a specified price, unique products or services that have different prices for each sale, or one product or service. Item number 5 is sales. So sales makes up 10% of what is asked on the certification exam. For this, you will want to know the 5 ways to record sales. This includes invoicing, sales receipts, statement charges, deposits, and through QuickBooks-compatible programs such as Excel or Peachtree. You will want to know who should be listed in the Customer Center, how to navigate and use the Customer Center, how to complete the workflow from the sale to making the deposit for invoicing and sales receipts. So again, you will invoice someone when they do not pay at the time of sale, but you'll use a sales receipt when they do pay at the time of sale. You'll want to know how QuickBooks uses the undeposited funds, accounts receivable, and checking accounts in the invoicing cycle, how and why to record a customer credit, how and why to create statement charges, and how to handle a bounced or NSF, non-sufficient funds, check. Item number 6 is purchases. Purchases, again, makes up 10% of what is asked on the certification exam. You will want to know who should be listed in the vendor center. So remember, a vendor is anyone you pay. This can mean subcontractors, a utility company, your landlord, tax agencies, or suppliers. How to navigate and use the vendor center, the different workflows for making purchases, which includes entering and paying bills, writing checks, using a credit card and using a debit card, how to record transactions in the purchase workflows, how and why to record a vendor credit, how to complete the inventory workflow from purchase order to payment, how to set up, collect, and pay sales tax, and lastly, bank reconciliation. So payroll is the next item. This makes up 12% of the questions asked, so more or less 6 questions. Speaking about payroll, I had taken some of the training and I took the prove-it assessments. I found that payroll was a topic that I really struggled with, so I made sure to refer back to the Day 2 manual for Chapter 5 so that I understood the questions and the concepts behind payroll and exactly how payroll is run. So for payroll, you will want to know the differences between the payroll services available from QuickBooks. This includes basic, enhanced, assisted, and direct. How to set up payroll, including employees, federal and state taxes, and basic payroll deductions using the payroll setup wizard. So this will include how to set up an employee's earnings and sick or vacation time, and how to track sick or vacation time, accruing hours, and using banked hours. You'll want to know how and why to set up payroll schedules, how to run payroll or pay employees, how and why to pay payroll liabilities, how to prepare payroll forms such as the 941 and W-2 in QuickBooks, and also how to track time and use it for payroll or for invoicing customers. Topic number 8 is reports. This is 16% of what is asked, so approximately 8 questions. So noting that this is a good chunk of the questions that were asked, I made sure to refer back to the report section of the manual so that I knew each of the topics. You'll want to know how and why to use the report center, how to customize reports. This includes report modifications, collapsing subaccounts, and so on. The basic question that each report answers, so a basic understanding of each report, how and why to process multiple reports by going to Reports, Process Multiple Reports in the menu, how and why to send Excel reports to Excel, and how to memorize reports. Topic number 9 is basic accounting. This is 10% of what is asked, so about 5 questions. You'll want to know what the basic financial statements are and have a basic understanding of what they mean, the difference between cash and accrual reports. So remember, accrual-based counting recognizes expenses and income in the period that they have occurred, regardless if payment has actually occurred. But cash-based accounting does not recognize items until they have actually been paid. You'll want to know how and why to set a closing date, and how to enter a journal entry if you are asked to do so by an accountant. Lastly, item number 10 is customization and saving time and shortcuts. This is 12% of the questions asked, about 6 questions. You'll want to know how and why to memorize transactions by automatically entering, how to set up multiple users and what level of access can be granted or denied for each user, and how and why to create custom fields, so customers, vendors, and items in each of these different areas. So at this point, that concludes my portion of the exam objectives and what I went over. I am now going to open the line back up and will address any questions that anyone has. And you are all back on the line now.
Okay. This is Patty, and I know you sort of started to talk about the Prove It portion and that there were some difficulties with that. Could you go over that and when those segments become available?
So initially there was some difficulty with Prove It. It was something on Connect to Prove It server end, so it had nothing to do with anyone's computers or even metrics. Basically, the assessments were loading very slowly. People couldn't get into them. It was frustrating. This has since been resolved, so there are no longer any issues with Prove It, which is good. So basically what you'll want to do is you want to continue finishing training in sequential order. After you finish the Master in QuickBooks course, you'll move on to the QuickBooks Pro 2009 course. Then afterwards, you can finish the 2 Prove It assessments. That's the 2012 and 2011 assessments.
Okay.
And speaking of training, I know that someone had brought up earlier today, they had some difficulty with the 2009 course. Within some of the simulations, I noticed myself that there's a couple of sections that don't let you type in the answer, or you'll do an answer and they mark it wrong even though it's right. So we are working with Skillsoft right now. We've identified all the different areas where this happens. And so they're working on that. But if there is any error within the course, it is not within the test part of the course. So it's not going to impact your grade. You can still pass the course and get 100% if that is what you are aiming toward.
Okay, that's good to know. So are we still timed in the sense that we can still continue? I was thinking that probably today, I'm sorry, this is Anne-Marie. I was thinking that probably today is the day that we're supposed to finish all the sections, which would include QuickBooks 2012.
Yes. So, I mean, we had initially wanted everyone to finish everything by today, but noting the technical difficulties that there were, we let the one-stop know, and they're open to testing, you know, beyond this Thursday, which was going to be the first start date. So we encourage that you get training done as soon as possible, working toward, and for some of you, I know that you finished, excuse me, one second. I know that you had finished the 2009 course. With the 2 Prove It and with any activity and metrics, if you don't pass the first time, you can retake an activity until you do pass. So say for the 2012 Prove It, if you don't pass the first time, you know, don't be alarmed. Myself included, I did not pass the first time, but then I went on to pass the certification exam, so it wasn't an issue. So we just encourage that you continue on in training.
Thank you.
Valerie, this is Tanya. Do you know how long they've extended it? I mean, is it through like the end of next week?
Yes, so I'm going to be in contact with Stella. Testing was supposed to be this Thursday up until next Wednesday, but because there were 2 or 3 days where things were inaccessible, if you could just have things done within the next 2 or 3 days, we'd like to move along with testing. But I know that each person's circumstance is kind of different, so just continue on the best that you can, and we'll get you in for testing.
Okay.
Hi, Valerie. This is Antoinette. In my email, I had asked a question about the lead center.
Yes.
You said do not have to be concerned about that. That is mentioned. That is some of the questions in the 2012 exam.
So yes, what
Will that not
Antoinette
be
is
part of the? Yeah.
Yes, so what Antoinette is speaking about, for anyone who's unfamiliar, is in one of the assessments, one of the Prove It assessments, they ask a question about the lead center in QuickBooks. So this is in the Prove It assessment, but it's not in the Mastering QuickBooks training. The trainings are different. Mastering QuickBooks and Prove It are provided by two different companies, so the training differs a little bit. You won't be asked anything about the lead center on the certification exam, so just don't be alarmed by that. Continue on in training. And something that I made sure to refer to was if I had questions, if there were topics such as reports or payroll that I mentioned that I had issues with, QuickBooks has a support site that is incredibly helpful. So you can type in different topics, and they explain, they give screenshots and step-by-step. So if you do have questions in any particular area after you take Mastering QuickBooks, Prove It, or anything, I would refer to those.
Okay. Thanks, Valerie.
You're welcome. All right, so does anyone have any other questions, comments, concerns?
One more. Is that QuickBooks 2012 have a multi-currency? I don't remember that when I learned that master training 2012, it mentioned the multi-currency.
Okay, so I know that I did not have any questions on the multiple currency on my exam. So again, that's the difference between the mastering and the 2012.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that test date of April 24? Because
so,
I missed a few minutes in the beginning, so just want to make sure.
Not a problem. So noting that there were some technical difficulties with the 2012 and 2011 assessments, we spoke with the One Stop, and they're open to testing at a later date. Initially, it was going to be this Thursday through next Wednesday, but there are no set dates at this point. We're just asking that people get through training as quickly as possible, then we'll get you into test.
Okay, great. Okay.
Valerie, you had also given us an idea of how many questions were in each chapter. I missed the first 4. I just needed to know if you could just tell me approximately how many questions.
Sure. Let me just get here. All right. So sections 1 through 4. Number 1 is QuickBooks setup. It's 6% of the questions, so 3 more or less. Number 2 is QuickBooks utilities and general product knowledge. That'll be about 5. List management, again, will be 3. And then items, number 4, will be about 4 questions. So that's all broken down in the objectives document.
Okay, wonderful. And these are approximately or exact?
I think they are exact, actually, because this is from QuickBooks site itself. I pulled it from there.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Hi, Valerie. This is Antoinette again. I have a question about, the vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
How will you determine when we are completed with the whole course? Because I know some items still show open on mine. So will you just send us all the vouchers at a certain point, or how will that work?
So you are automatically sent the voucher once you've finished all the training and metrics. If there is anything that is not, that you have finished and is not showing as complete, shoot me a quick email. I can go ahead and address that. But everything is automated. So once you finish everything, you'll get the voucher, and then we follow up with an email with information for the free practice test.
Now, I went through day 1 and day 2 using Google and different PC, and my laptop. Now, some still show open, and some shows partial, and some shows complete. So how will I get the whole thing? Do I have to go through the whole course again, or?
Oh, no, you won't have to do that. So that actually brings up a really great point, and thank you for bringing this up. For Google Chrome, we have noticed, and this is why we typically don't have people use Chrome, sometimes the sections won't record if people use Google Chrome. So if you have finished day 1 and day 2, you've gotten all the way down to the bottom, and again, this is Antoinette, correct?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will adjust that for you. And this goes for anyone. If you've gotten all the way to the bottom and there's issues recording, maybe because of Chrome, just let me know. It'll be a quick adjustment on my end, and you'll be set.
Okay. Now, my last question about the voucher. So you say it's automated. Now, if you fail the exams, the test exams that's on the course plan, will you still get the voucher, or you will not get it until you pass those exams?
So you won't get the voucher until you pass everything within metrics of an 80% or higher.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And along with that, again, if you don't pass everything the first time, you can always go back in and retest, so you'll be good.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Let's see. So anything else from anyone else?
I believe I'm good for now. This is Tanya.
All right. Anne-Marie, I'm fine for now. Thank you.
This is Patty. Thank you so much. I'm good now.
Great. All right. Well, at this point, what I'm going to do is go ahead. Sorry, do we have a question or?
Nope, just thanking you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and sign off. And again, thank you all so much for being here this afternoon and being so accommodating with the change. I will send you a recorded version of this so that you are able to access it once you finish everything. And we're looking forward to helping you get toward the next step of getting your certification.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Valerie.
Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.